This is the view of what was Billingham Railway Station. All that's left now is the level crossing and the pub in the background there, the station hotel. The station was probably built about a mile north of what was then a very small village of Billingham. Until quite recently, a signal box and footbridge still existed. However, these were rather unceremoniously destroyed in the name of progress. The signal box was quite tall, and I thought it was interesting that the side nearest the tracks was blackened against the other sides, which were relatively clean, obviously the result of steam trains going past back in the day. Also on the corner there was some damage where a train had derailed apparently many years before as well. This view from the footbridge was taken maybe about 40 years ago and shows a Class 142 rounding the corner, a train that served Billingham right until it was withdrawn a couple of years ago. Billingham Station also had a large goods yard, which has now been replaced by this small housing estate. It was a shame that they took the footbridge down. When I was last over it, I noticed some remnants of history, and I used this photo montage to try and recreate what was originally there. Also, people say that the station should never have been closed down, to try and illustrate what the station might have looked like had it remained. When the signal box and footbridge were originally removed, the oil lamp house still remained, but unfortunately this, I've noticed, has also been taken away now. So as a result of the Durham Coast re-signalling scheme, even these last remnants of the old system, the semaphores and the footbridge and the signal box and everything, is now totally gone. Well, here we are at the new Billingham Railway Station, although you'd never know it because it's hidden behind those bushes and there's no advertising at all. This was deemed to be nearer the town centre, which is over there where those tower blocks are, but by no means central in Billingham. I mean, this is actually quite near the outskirts. Now, originally all this land here was landscaped, just grass field, and obviously the bushes weren't quite so high, so it was a very nicer place than it is now, where now you've got these rather tatty work units in front of it, and basically the station's just tucked away in the background. Okay, so let's go back a little bit in time. These two photographs here were taken in round about 1982. This photograph in particular shows the basic, very basic layout of the station. You basically had an island platform in the middle with a very simple brick shelter, which I believe was originally built as a glazed shelter, but at some point, certainly by this point, had become just a brick shell. And if we look at this picture here, which is much more recent, you can see the basic configuration hadn't really changed. A bus stop style shelter was in the middle, but in the foreground you'll see one of the big problems with the station in that it only had access via a footbridge. There was no ramp access or anything like that, and it was quite a climb for some people to get up and over. It wasn't always as basic. If you look at this photograph here, you'll see a flat roof building on the left. That was originally the ticket office waiting room area, but I don't think it lasted very long at all. This would have been opened in the very late 60s, and I think by the early 70s this was a shut-up building. One of the features of this building did have, however, was that it allowed level access to the platform. So in this configuration, it the station wouldn't have been so bad. But when the station building closed, that's when I believe that ground level access was taken away. If we come forward to probably about 5 years ago, you can now see the original station building on the right, which it was occupied intermittently. I think the last people who were in there were a taxi office, but no one ever really seemed to make a go of it. You can see that they've made some slight improvements to the footbridge to give it better railings, and I think they put foot grips in as well. And you can see there that they had actually installed an automatic ticket machine as well. But you still had the problem with that footbridge. Now, it was about this time I thought, just as an exercise, this was during COVID, that I would do like an artist impression of how the station, with a few simple tidy ups and paints, could be changed into a much more attractive building, and also how the concrete bridge could perhaps be extended to the road bridge embankment behind to give level access. But it proved to be no avail, because not long after, the station building caught fire and the roof collapsed, and that was the end of that. So after many years of waiting, eventually they did decide to upgrade the station. I think the main driving force was disabled access, which meant installing lifts. But it was quite an in-depth rebuild of the station, right down to ground level. In this photograph here you can see that the station building has been demolished, and what they've basically done at this point is moved the active station to the other end of the platform. So everything you can see here is actually out of use by this point. They installed a temporary scaffolding wooden footbridge over the top, which was more effective than perhaps I give it thought for. Once that was built and everything was going well, they knocked down the footbridge, as you can see in this photograph here, and they started to rebuild the island platform with new concrete sections. This is a picture of them building the foundations for the two lift shafts, which quite well engineered by the look of it, and so things progressed. And this photograph here shows that the lift towers are built. Looking quite strange, seeing as there's no footbridge for them to go out onto. Things progressed through the winter, but finally things started to come together, and it started to look like a station again once they actually got the footbridge connected. So this is the finished station. The only thing that really survived was this Billingham Railway sign. And you can see it's a rather industrial station, but it's very much within the modern style of stations. You've got an automated ticket office, ticket machine, although I don't expect that to survive very much longer either, the way mobile phone app ticketing seems to be going. And there we go, we've got the lift going up to the footbridge over the top, and then another one identical to it taking you back down again. The shelter is very basic, not as good as the one that was actually taken out. It's again very much within the modern style. You've got a display board, which so far have survived. Speakers for announcements, mainly automated announcements, but occasionally you do hear a real human voice. There is a bicycle shed, but I don't think many people would actually leave the push bikes here, considering the area that it's in, i.e. an industrial area away from housing and what have you. So there we go, we've got our train coming into the new station. Basically there's one train an hour in each direction, plus some specials. There is comments saying that this station and this line would perhaps benefit from a metro style train system. You could, for example, build stations at the Old Billingham, in Norton, and basically all around through Stockton and Thornaby, and it could be a useful service. The only problem is it's not really suited to the type of trains that we have at the moment, which are these diesel trains, which don't really like stopping and starting, on such short runs. It would really need electrification before that was done. So there we go, at least we've got a new station. So our old station is now a shiny, if industrial looking unit, but little steps. Billingham Railway Stations.